On the news tonight, Buhari, CBN governor in closed-door meeting as Supreme Court suspends deadline for Naira swap. Governor Adeleke is set to redeem glory of the state media outfit. While on the foreign scene, death toll from earthquake in Turkey and neighboring Syria now above 11,000. Good evening, and we are glad to have you join us on the major reports. I am Olubomi Ajiboye Agbuola. The Independent National Electoral Commission has filed a notice of appeal over the majority ruling of the Osun State Election Petition Tribunal delivered by Justice Sise Kume. Joined as respondents are the immediate past governor, Mr. Adigboyega Oyetola, the All Progressives Congress, the state governor, Senator Ademola Adeleke, and the People's Democratic Party. The appeal premised on 44 grounds for errors in law was filed today by the Commission. Meanwhile, the Osun State chapter of the People's Democratic Party has commended the Independent National Electoral Commission for initiating processes to appeal the judgment of the Osun Governorship Election Petition Tribunal, which attacked the BVAS machines. The PDP, in a statement by its caretaker chairman, Dr. Akindele, said the electoral umpire has lived up to the expectations of Nigerians in standing up to the defense of the country's electoral system. The statement expressed faith that the higher courts will establish the supremacy of BVAS machines above any other source on accreditation of voters. Dr. Akindele noted that the decision of INEC has put paid to the lies making the rounds in the last few days, adding that mandates Osbc can only try but will not succeed. He explained that the lies that INEC would not appeal the judgment that tries to discredit BVAS machines in the country's election emanated from APC lawyers. The Supreme Court has ordered the suspension of the deadline for the swapping of old to new naira notes by the Central Bank of Nigeria. The Supreme Court issued an interim injunction restraining the federal government from suspending the acceptance of the old naira notes on February 10, 2023 deadline. Kaduna, Zamfara, and Kogi state governments instituted a suit against the federal government at the Supreme Court over the scarcity of old and new naira notes due to the CBN naira redesign policy. The state government said that they were worried about the effect of the CBN naira redesign policy is having on the residents of the state. It will be recalled that Justice Enojo Eneche of the Federal Capital Territory High Court had earlier stopped the Central Bank of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, and 27 commercial banks from suspending or interfering with the currency redesign terminal date of February 10 or issue any directive contrary to the set date. In a motion by 5 political parties, the court also granted an order directing the chief executive officers of the banks to show cause by why they should not be arrested and prosecuted for the financial sabotage of the country by illegally hoarding and not disbursing the new 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1,000 naira banknotes despite supply of such notes by the central bank. President Buhari had last year approved the redesign of the banknotes, but the move has created hardship among Nigerians who have struggled to lay hands on the new notes as February 10th deadline for the currency swap inches closer. President Muhammadu Buhari today received the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, in a closed-door meeting in Aso Rock Villa, Abuja. This comes hours after the Supreme Court's ruling stopping the February 10 deadline for the validity of 200 naira, 500 naira banknotes. A 7-man panel of the Supreme Court led by Justice John Okoro in a unanimous ruling granted the interim injunction after an expertise filed by Kogi, Kaduna, and Zamfara state governments. The Apex Court also held that the federal government and the CBN must not continue with the deadline pending the determination of the hearing on February 15. In latest developments, President Buhari summoned Emefiele to the presidential villa where both had a closed-door meeting. However, the outcome of the meeting is yet to be known as at press time. The leadership of Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria has called on President Muhammadu Buhari to revise or hands up on the policy and allow his successor champion the Naira redesign policy. The association alleged that the policy was a plot by some politicians working in and around the president to paint him black after the expiration of his administration. Leader of the association in Southeast, Alhaji Gidado Siddiqui, who spoke to journalists in Oka on the developments, appealed to Nigerians to bear with the federal government, noting that the situation will be over in a very short time possible, as promised by the president. According to him, Magban is calling on the president, as a matter of his future reputation, to suspend or hands up on the policy as he did when he suspended the implementation of the Ruga Settlement Project under the National Livestock Transformation Plan in 2019. Siddiqui said the redesigning of the Naira denominations has inflicted more harm to its value before the international communities. Hence, the president should suspend the policy and allow whoever emerges as the next president to continue from there. Former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo has urged Nigerians to strive and ensure that the forthcoming general elections holds at all costs. He said this today when he received the national leadership of the African Democratic Congress in Abeokuta, Ogun State, adding that the attention of global community is focused on the elections scheduled to hold on February 25 and March 11 respectively. Obasanjo, who went into a closed-door meeting with the national chairman of the party, Ralph Nwosu, and other members of the party board of trustees, said that countries on the West African coast are concerned with what would be the outcome. His remarks, the BOT chairman, Mani Ibrahim, was at Obasanjo's residence for counsel and guidance. He explained that the move became necessary because the party has no compass to navigate its way through. The Nigerian Labour Congress has elected Joe Ajaero as its national president. Ajaero, who until his emergence as president was the deputy national president of the Labour Union and the general secretary of the Nigerian Union of Electricity Employees, also made history by emerging unopposed as the union's president. He emerged as the NLC national president at the 13th National Delegates Conference of the Labour Union ongoing in Abuja. The conference at the International Conference Center Abuja and is expected to end with the election of new national officers for a 4-year period. Ajaero succeeds Ayuba Waba, whose tenure as NLC national president ended today. The federal government has said marketers who engaged in racketeering activities are responsible for the rising cost and scarcity of premium motor spirits in parts of the country. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timothy Silva, revealed this today while briefing State House correspondents on the outcome of the Federal Executive Council presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari at the Aso Rock Villa, Abuja. Silva said although the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has ensured the supply of fuel nationwide, challenges persist at distribution points. He explained that the ministry had issued directives to end racketeering, which has led to soaring fuel prices, but the directives are falling on deaf ears as supply bottlenecks persist. Therefore, Silva again directed the regulatory agency NMDPRA to sanction air refueling stations. The major challenges confronting Nigeria have been tied to the high rate of corruption in the system, which has permeated the entire fabrics of the nation. An analyst, Mr. Sheson Oke, who said this while reacting to the report on the latest corruption index released by Transparency International, which ranked Nigeria high among other countries of the world. Mr. Oke also spoke on the need for the leaders and the followers to shun corrupt practices to avoid underdevelopment in all sectors of the economy.
Corruption is a name that we are looking at it on the face value, but it's more deeper than the people are handling it. You see, there are debris in the ways of corruption, and whoever is going to fight corruption must be ready to take whatever anybody may be saying, because it has been a fabric in the body of everybody in this country. No one can say I am a saint when it comes to corruption. So if government is saying that or is saying it during the campaign or anything, it will be very difficult for sure the government to do what it has in mind, except it was able to do justice to what is on the ground before his arrival as a government.
Nigeria has recorded 90% drop in cases of circulating vaccine-derived poliovirus type 2. Consequently, the federal government has begun engaging partners to find the on polio and routine immunization in Nigeria said, in the last few years, Nigeria has experienced circulating variant poliovirus in some states due to low routine immunization coverage. He urged the solidarity and collaboration that led to eradication of the white poliovirus in Nigeria should be sustained to achieve what the country has been able to do in the last 6 years in terms of maintaining a zero white poliovirus transmission. Did you know that Nigeria ranks third on the global scale of countries engaged in female genital mutilation? Did you also know that anyone caught in the act risks a jail term, as the law prohibiting FGM has been domesticated in Nigeria? What exactly is female genital mutilation and what dangers inherent on the female gender? In this special report, Oluchi Amoda examines the implications of FGM on the fair gender. A report.
In deep culture and tradition, as on people,
moral question, and each person develops his moral values.
According to the United Nations Population Fund and the United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, FGM comprises all procedures, human rights of girls and women. The agencies noted that the prevalence of the legal act was increasing in the world, saying that it might be difficult for the proposed elimination of FGM by 2030 to come to fruition if urgent steps were not taken. A maternal health expert, Dr. Rabiatu Sagia, and a health worker, Mrs. Toyin Adelowoko, explained that FGM constitutes an extreme form of discrimination against women and girls and violates their rights to health, security, physical integrity, rights to be free from torture, cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment, and their rights to life when procedure results in death.
Female genital mutilation is actually the partial or complete removal of the female external genitalia for non-medical or for cultural reasons. It comes with it several complications. The immediate complications may include infection, pain while she's passing urine, also her likelihood of having obstructed labor results in vesicovaginal fistula.
The dangers associated with female genital race, which may lead to vesicovaginal fistula or rectovaginal fistula. It may also lead to fetal
has been delivered in Nigeria. The agencies noted that 19.9 million girls and women have survived FGM and that 4.3 million girls are at risk of FGM. Dr. Nkiru Bokwe is a gender specialist who maintained that the age-long practice
is done when women are children, and therefore they have no say. Most of the practice in Nigeria, as the NDHS data has shown, women and girls undergo FGM below the age and performed on them as a rites of passage. Some of them don't give consent. I know particularly of somebody who fought gallantly against being mutilated at her when she was having her first baby, and because of that, she's now suffering the ick, as to say, of her family and her relations and her husband, and she's also you could say that her marriage also is under attack, so to say. So nobody subjects herself willingly to pain, to harm. Do you know that they consent to what happens to her body? And at that age, and if a girl is being caught, there is no issue of consent here. Because even the age, at that age, she cannot give consent. What does she know? What does consent mean? As a matter of fact.
Similarly, anyone caught in the act will face the full wrath of the law. She enjoined the public to desist from the practice of female genital mutilation and protect the girl child.
Female genital prohibition has been domesticated even in Osun State. If you don't know, it has been prohibited. Anybody that is found doing that has gone against the law, and it is punishable. That person is going to face the wrath of the law, and that's why I'm telling you. And there is no gain. It's you that is thinking that there is gain. But for us and for every right-thinking person, you will see that there is no gain in it. Please stop doing it. And if you see anybody planning to do it, not when they have already done it, anybody that is planning to do it before they start it, please intimate of us of the information.
The respondents spoke on the need for boys and men to collaborate with the women for the total elimination of the harmful practice. Oluchi Amuda, Osbc News.
You're welcome to our sports segment. Osun State government has pledged our support for the state-owned corporation Osbc to regain its rights as the leading broadcasting station among its peers in the Southwest. The Senior Special Assistant to Governor Ademola Adeleke, Honorable Oladele Bamiji, made this known during the public opening ceremony of the maiden edition of the Osbc five-a-side football competition that kicked off today at the premises of the corporation. Omotayo Adebodo reports.
AUD All-Stars FC Osogbo has defeated Oriade FC also of Osogbo in the opening match of the maiden edition of the Osbc five-a-side football competition, which was keenly contested as all three goals were scored in the second half of the competition. In his remarks, Senior Special Assistant to Governor on Media, Honorable Oladele Bamiji, remarked that the state government is happy to identify with the corporation, adding that Osbc is known for quality entertainment education and the government will continue to render necessary support to make the first edition a remarkable one.
This maiden edition will be successful because whatever we have within our realm of capacity, we will do.
Earlier in his address, Director General Osbc Mr. Rashid Folanome stated that the competition is part of the corporation's efforts to encourage creativity and talent growth, adding that Osbc is ready to support the state government in bringing its good plans to reality.
We want to engage them and want to appeal to the participants in the competition to focus their minds on winning and not to be rude. They need to follow the rules of the game.
The ceremonial kickoff was done earlier by Honorable Oladele Bamiji, accompanied by the Director General and other directors of the corporation, as well as top government officials. Sadiq Adeyemo emerged as the man of the match for the first match of the Osbc five-a-side maiden edition. Omotayo Adebodun, Osbc News.
While on the foreign scene, death toll from the earthquake that struck Turkey and neighboring Syria has climbed above 11,000, making it the deadliest ever in over a decade. Kayode Adebayo has the rest of this and more from the
The UK government has announced it will send £8 million worth of additional support to Turkey and Syria, including tents, blankets, and hygiene kits for up to 15,000 people and medics who can perform surgeries, along with equipment to provide vital emergency treatment. The announcement comes after the government has already sent a search and rescue team of 77 personnel, equipment, and 4 search dogs to assist with finding survivors. That team arrived in Gaziantep in southern Turkey, not far from the border of Syria. The death toll has risen to 11,719 in Turkey. At least 9,057 have died. According to President Recep Erdogan, another 40,910 are injured. According to the Turkish Disaster and Emergency Management Authority, and 8,000 people have been rescued from the rubble alive. In Syria, at least 2,662 people total have died, which includes at least 1,262 in government-held areas and at least 1,400 in rebel-held territories. More than 22,000 people are injured in government-held areas, according to the Syrian Health Ministry, and more than 2,700 are injured in rebel-held territories. Officials are looking into reports of children being separated from their families in the wake of the devastating earthquakes. Turkey's Disaster Management Agency says earthquake victims who cannot be identified will be buried within 5 days in line with Islamic funeral rites. Meanwhile, President Recep Erdogan admitted to problems with his government's initial response to a devastating earthquake to the city of Kahramanmaraş. Erdogan, who contests election in May, said on a visit to the disaster zone that operations were now working normally and promised no one would be left homeless, as the combined death toll across Turkey and neighboring Syria climbed above 11,000. The United Nations says it is exploring all avenues to get supplies to rebel-held northwestern Syria, and it released $25 million from its emergency fund to help kickstart the humanitarian rescue damaged, temporarily disrupting aid delivery to the rebel-held northwest. As the death toll surged, the earthquake that rocked Turkey and Syria has become the deadliest in over a decade, and taken hostage by separatist fighters in Indonesia's Papua region. Captain Philip Meretens, aged 37, was taken after his plane carrying 5 passengers was attacked when it landed in the remote mountainous province of Unduga. His abductors, the West Papuan National Liberation Army, have indicated that he is safe, but he will not be released until the independence of West Papua is recognized. The 5 passengers who were also on board, including a child, have been released because they are native Papuans. Meanwhile, Indonesian authorities say they are deploying a search and rescue team, but police noted it was logistically difficult because the remote area can only be reached by air. New Zealand's Prime Minister Chris Hipkins said the country's embassy in Jakarta is working on the case. Kayode Adebayo, Osbc News.
And that ends the major report on OSBC TV. It was edited by Kayode Adebayo. I am Olubumi Ajiboyabola saying good night.